We got a classic game here between some very good players from 2008. We got the big one and the little one. We see the little one is Aeon, big one is UEF, a great combination for long games. We see Zock as Aeon and his teammate Zulan also Aeon and UEF, so it should be very similar. This map has a number of choke points. The middle is most important. We see some very early opportunities at mass, some dead civs. So usually we see ACUs rush up here and start fighting right away. See first land from Zock and Zulan, as well as the big one and the little one. So probably with the current patch we might see a few more first air on this map. Maps of this size, you really want air to do early damage, but this was with 3599. And you can see this first NG from Zock is going up the middle very quickly. We'll see some mech marines coming out from Zulan, as well as some auroras from the little one, and some tanks and some scouts from the big one. So it looks like little one's ACU is going to be the first to the middle, but otherwise we're going to see a lot of action with some basic units. We see this mech marine from Zulan is going to attempt to sneak into the big one's base. A great positioning on the scout. Might see a scout on scout action here. Very weak guns on these, but against scouts they're effective. Now we're seeing this aurora from the little one sneaking in, attempting to sneak into Zock's base, but Zock getting a lot of mass for his team with that NG, and great protection from Zulan. See mech marines versus a tank, and that was the wrong micro for the mech marines. He'll run circles around that tank. He can run faster than a turret and kill it. This NG is still getting a lot of mass, and perhaps now, yeah, finally this tank that should have been killed has put an end to that NG. Great place to put a radar for Zock. And now it's an NG for Zulan, so he cleaned up on whatever mass Zock didn't get. It's a total mass domination for the bottom side. Now we see something interesting in transport from the little one, and he has won this early battle with his auroras. 3 kills on one of these auroras. It's like a transport full of arty. See a lot of flak here from Zock. That is not going to help him, and this hydro is very vulnerable now. It is going to be taken out. Great drop from Zock. Should see more interceptors by this time of the game. However, a transport should be dead, but it's still alive, so 3 kill aurora here still. Might have a chance to kill those mass extractors, but total devastation inside Zock's base. See Zulan working on an upgrade. Big one is moving into the middle of his ACU. He's got the gun in the ACU. Very good weapon. Actually, it would be nice to see this ACU take on Aeon from Zock. UEF ACU with gun just decimates auroras. A nice size force from Zulan here. Opportunities to vet up for Zulan's ACU, and the little one also halfway through an upgrade. Appears he already has an upgrade to see how far he can shoot. He's got the range upgrade. He's probably getting the rate upgrade for the gun. So the Aeon gun with the 2 upgrades, the best gun on the ACU. Besides, of course, the Seraphim, but that's way too expensive. So now we see little one with the second transport. Amazing. This is coming up on minute 7. Still no interceptors for either side. So the gameplay really changed in the last 4 years or 3 years. That's great. See the auroras did their job, get back into the transport. Now going to fly away, and now the little one with both upgrades on his ACU is going to move into the middle. And now Zock appears to have the exact same situation as the little one. Aeon ACU with 2 upgrades can outrange the UEF. The little one's going to try to help out his ally. Finally see some interceptors, however they are on the little one's team, and it looks like the little one, the only one is exploiting air. Finally see some interceptors from the Zulan as well. And Zock really having a lot of trouble with these drops from the little one. I see Zock retreating, 6 kills in the ACU. Some T2 PD from Zulan, looks like a T2 ACU. It's a very good weapon on this map. We also see some T2 units, some Mongoose and Shield, and actually the big one's ACU at 10 kills with a gun. Surprisingly low on health, but the little one is going to help him out, but the Shield provide enough health, at least for now. Scout from the little one still alive. Zulan is going to attempt to get T2 PDs in the center of the map. If he can control the center, it's going to give him a big advantage. T2 ground from the little one. He is making obsidians. Excellent T2 tanks. Pretty expensive, but get the job done. We see looks like the Mongoose were given back and forth between the big one and the little one, but now end up on the big one's team. Both ACUs got a shield, but now we see this T2 PD could be problematic, and the little one is pushing with his ACU. Looks like he is using his ACU against this T2 PD. He's got to be very careful. Now sitting at 22 kills. Now while this is happening, we see Zock taking this opportunity to push. He's got a pretty low health ACU, but no ACU in his way, so he can really use his gun to vet up. Now Zulan with his multiple T2 PDs can occupy two separate separate ACUs. Looks like that gun upgrade for the big one didn't really pay off. You can see how well this gun on Aeon ACU is working against T2. Should see an overcharge. There goes the Obsidian, very expensive tank, killed in one shot, and the little one has to move over to his base to prevent Zock from pushing any further. So 38 kills now, 40. Multiple missile launchers for the big one, and Zulan is trying to get some TMD up to prevent these missiles from hitting, but EAF really has bad TMD, so good choice of units for the big one. Really had no choice, it's only counter to T2 PD. Now Zock at 43 kills the little one, at 48 successfully defends his base. Some nice T1 bombing now from Zulan. 5 kills on that bomber. NG is a really perfect target. Another transport for the little one. And now more bombers. That's an overkill on that NG, so 3 different bombs. I see some pillars coming in. Some great units going to help the little one out. You can see the little one and the big one really helping each other out. Multiple T1 transport for the little one. We might see something interesting. And now it looks like Zock is going to push. See if we can get a better angle here. You can see those obsidians, or these are pillars actually, getting taken out by the overcharge. 49 kills now, 65. That's a very good shield here for the little ones, going to give them a big advantage. Surprisingly, we don't see these bombers from Zulan being used more. And Zulan is just making more PDs. He's got multiple PDs, TMD, and a shield. Nearly in the center of the map. If he can really control a little further up, cut off multiple choke points here. Actually, Zock might be in a little bit of trouble here. At 55 kills, and the little one with the shield. Yeah, and Zock is not going to be able to retreat. He was hoping to get that 60th kill, and it becomes 2v1, a great kill for the little one. So the difference was that he did have those shields that gave his AC a lot more health. So while the little one is still at 6,000 health, Zock was quite low, and now we see it looks like a drop from the big one. It looks like a bunch of NGs. Interesting to see. It will be some drops on top of these ledges. Maybe you can make some PD. And there goes the drop. Looks like T1 PD. Great choice, but these bombers are excellent defense against drops. And there goes those NGs. Might not even be able to finish that PD. Almost. So great defense from Zulan. And we see a drop from the little one. And here we still see quite a few missile launchers here going against Zulan, but multiple shields in TMD. It's really going to be all Zulan in the middle. So even though it's a 2v1, big advantage for Zulan. And the little one's still using his transports very well. Just drops off a few units, kills, puts them back in the transports, and keeps on moving. And now we see the little one with a shield. He's going to try to push against Zock's old base. A lot of T1 bombers here from Zulan. Perhaps he's looking to kill this transport. I see this Artie. He's going to kill a few more mass extractors, as well as NGs and pigeons. And in the middle, it looks like trouble for Zulan. His shields are not working. Maybe he has some power problems and is pushing with his ACU. So not clear why that's happening. And now we see these bombers attacking the Artie. So Zulan really has to play in 3 different spots here. He's got to look at the little one pushing against his base. He's got to take care of this drop. That's why you should really use drops in a 2v1. And he's got to take care of his ACU. And you can see these bombers successfully defended that drop. And now the little one pushing quite far. He's got 90 kills, full health, plus his shield, some T2. A very good ACU. You might be thinking about about pushing further up. He's got a T2 engineer here in this area. Is getting some T1 mass extractors. This force is for the most part T1, but a few shields. So Obsidians could be trouble for this ACU, although it'll be very close. And you can see Zulan continues his PD creep. Multiple T2 PDs. And it looks like the little one is getting quite deep. Might get himself into a bit of trouble here. Yeah, he really does not want to go back here. He wants to go back home. You can see his NGs are getting a PD up, and his shield really not helping him out. Finally gets it into position, but it's probably not enough. So it's ACU all alone. All these units shooting at the ACU. And he really's got to run. And you can see how quickly he's losing health here. Looks like the Obsidian, yes, Obsidian shots take a lot of health. And there goes the little one from full health at 100 kills to being dead, so it's 1v1. It's a big loss for the top side. Now Zulan has control of the middle, and he's going 1v1. He continues to make TMD and T2 PD in the middle. See, this choke point could be trouble for the big one. He's got some T2 PD here, maybe a few T1 PDs. I see T1 bombers looking for things to kill. Still a pretty nice missile launcher force from the big one. Plus some shields. Can really outrange these T2 PDs. We do see T3 now from the big one. Some Percy's excellent units could try to get Zulan to attack or have these shields drop and hit his ACU. And now we can see this only a single T2 PD. Zulan retreats, but now we're going to see some T1 PDs as well. So this choke point no longer an option unless Zulan makes some missile launchers, just like the big one's doing now. Looks like Zulan is going to be content with making shields and PDs, although it's a pretty nice missile force here. And these Perseus could be enough to drop these shields and be a very interesting fight. Appears to be all Perseus now for the big one, and he is pushing forward. That could be very big trouble for Zulan if these Perseus target the ACU. It looks like they're beginning to target, and Zulan should realize he needs to retreat. And those are wasted shots right there. If those 2 shots went against Zulan, it would have been game over. But a missed opportunity for the big one. And you can see a big response from Zulan. He really threw everything he had at those Perseus. Now Zulan back under his shield, relatively safe. See elsewhere we see Zulan bombing, actually killing off a few mass extractors. Now we see gunships going up against the big one. He does have flak, 6 kills on this T2 flak. We also see some T1 PD. Actually, these T1 bombers should have definitely bombed those NGs, not the ACU. Really, if you can take away the build capacity at this T3 factory, you take away the big one's main source of units, these Perseus. We're going to see some raiding, it seems like, from Zulan. He's going to try to sneak a few of these tanks in, and he's doing it on multiple spots on the map now. Yeah, it's a very troublesome passageway on this map. Really hard to defend unless you're controlling this big choke point. Now we see the plan for Zulan. He's going to get PD to cut off this passage between the big ones and the little ones' bases. You can see we don't see much in terms of drops or anything else on Zulan's two bases, so we're going to focus on what's happening in this fight directly between the two ACUs. The big one should be very careful getting too close here, because these T2 PDs do a lot of damage. Now we see Titans running into their death. Not clear why, so loss of concentration here. For whatever reason, these units for Zulan making their way back, and now we actually see gunships. And the big one really got to retreat. He's got to get some flak. And then he does have some flak here at 8 kill flak. 1,000 health. He just got 40 kills, got a few more 1,000 health there. And you can see these Perseus doing a good job against these Obsidians. And those T1 PDs doing a good job for the big one. And more gunships. We should see, looks like a shield coming out. Very timely shields, 400 health. But those gunships are dead now. And really no units for Zulan that can keep on progressing to this choke point. Perseus and T1 PDs plus ACU with a gun. Now we see 52 kills for the big one. Pushed quite a bit back on that exchange. Zulan now pushing with his ACU. Still only 2 kills in the ACU. Getting very dangerously close to those Perseus. Looks like he did not learn his lesson. The big one is pushing back. Only 1,000 health in his ACU. See the gunships now for Zulan are going to do some raiding. The big one pushing together with his this is a bad move from the big one. There's a lot of PD here, and actually he died when he didn't have to, although he was in a very bad position. Zulan was ready to cut the map in half. So a very good match between some great players. Hopefully some of them come back to FA. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one.